Missy and I watched the FBI show of the mysterious case of D.B. Cooper. You know, that dude that hijacked a plane 45 years ago. He demanded a large sum of money, and then he jumped from the 727, parachuting out with $200,000 cash, and he was never caught. This last week, the FBI closed the case. He got away with it. I follow this guy on the internet. His name's Scott McKnight, and McKnight said this: I believe the word gospel has been hijacked by what we believe about personal salvation, and the gospel itself has been reshaped to facilitate making decisions. The result of this hijacking is that the word gospel no longer means in our world what it originally meant to either Jesus or the Gospels. So in several of these posts on social media, I want to talk about the gospel. What is it? Many assume that they know exactly what the gospel is, but the sad fact is that it has been hijacked, and the church, our church, has to get it back. The word simply means good news. It appears over 90 times in the New Testament. It is often accompanied by a modifier like the gospel of Jesus Christ, or the gospel of His Son, or the gospel of the kingdom, or the gospel of peace, among others. Despite the adjectives, a great description comes from the Apostle Paul in Romans chapter 1. Paul says, I quote, "For I am not ashamed of this good news about Christ. It is the power of God at work, saving everyone who believes, the Jew first, and also the Gentile." This good news tells us how God makes us right in His sight. This is accomplished from start to finish by faith. As the Scriptures say, it is through faith that a righteous person has life. End quote. It is fantastic, incredible, and amazing. It is the good news. But let me share something with you. It's not this intellectual thing or something you keep hidden from everybody. The gospel isn't just you and I going to church. It's how you live. It's how we live. It's a new way of living because you have been changed by Christ. Unless you have hijacked the gospel for yourself and you have taken off with it, never intending to live it in the first place. Paul goes on to describe the core message of the gospel in 1 Corinthians. He says, "Let me now remind you, dear brothers and sisters, of the good news I preached to you before. You welcomed it then, and you still stand firm in it. It is this good news that saves you if you continue to believe the message I told you, unless, of course, you believe something that was never true in the first place." Did you see that cryptic ending phrase? Unless you believe something that was never true in the first place? He could be talking to you, could be talking to me. Did you ever believe it? Or was believing and getting baptized just something you did because others were doing it? There's speculation that D.B. Cooper didn't get away with it. They have found some of the money, but not all of it. It was marked bills, but none of the money ever showed up in circulation. The FBI closed the case, and the assumption is he got away with it. The assumption today is the gospel has been hijacked in our world. Why? Very few people I meet that would describe themselves as Christ followers are happy or know what freedom really is, or at peace no matter what life throws at them. Here's the gospel. Christ died. Christ was buried. Christ was resurrected. When you follow Him, He gives you life, a new life. At Fresh Church, our mission is to show people that a life lived in Christ is one of freedom, peace, hope, and love. Bring somebody with you this Sunday to Fresh. We move into our new meeting place at Oak Point Elementary, and we've moved there. Our children's program is fantastic. Bring the kids. The coffee is served at 10. The worship begins at 10:30. I hope to see you there.